Okay, folks, away we go. I am your very excited host and presenter, Murray Stewart, and this is episode 947 of Blind Magic in Alice Springs. And why am I excited? Well, my mighty St Kilda Football Club have just had a win in Perth against the West Coast Eagles. Yes, in a classic match, we have got home by 14 points. So I am very, very excited. The question is now, will they get home tonight? As there is a real problem at the Perth airport at the moment, with the equipment used to refuel planes having broken down. Planes are not able to get out of Perth at the moment. So maybe there will be a delay for the team to get home to not only celebrate, but to prepare for next weekend's clash against the Gold Coast. Yes, that situation at the Perth airport is something else. It's delaying planes all around Australia at the moment. So let's hope everything gets fixed. But of course, it does need to be fixed because there's no way known you would want to be on a plane from Perth to the east coast of Australia, which is where most of the planes out of Perth head, of course. You wouldn't want to be on a plane that has the issue of having to go from the west to the east on the one, lot of fuel. No, you wouldn't want that problem. So that is, of course, is why there is a real issue in the skies above Australia at the moment when it comes to the aviation industry. Let's hope it gets all fixed, and let's hope that everyone gets home from where they have come from over the next couple of days when flying in Australia. Okay, so it's on with this episode. I thought I would talk to you today about preventing back pain and about preventing medical intervention when it comes to back conditions. I want to talk to you as a myotherapist. A myotherapist I have been for many, many years, over 35 years in fact. And you may ask, what is a myotherapist? Well, I like to see myself as a hands-on, old-fashioned physiotherapist. You know, remember back in the day when physios were very, very hands-on. My background was as a remedial masseur. Yeah, that's what I was before becoming a myotherapist. So I am a very hands-on tactile therapist. So yeah, that's how I like to see myself, as a hands-on therapist. Okay, so when it comes to preventing back disorders, we must remember that we spend our time either in the seated position, the standing position, or of course lying down. So here are some tips that I want to pass on to you as a result of my many, many years as a hands-on therapist. Okay, so firstly, in the standing position, as best you can, try to walk with your ears over your hips. That's right, with your ears over your hips. That's right, your right ear over your right hip, your left ear over your left hip. Of course, that means you'll be walking nice and straight and tall. Thus, your back muscles will be wonderfully relaxed, your spine stable, and therefore the forces spread through your vertebral column will be spread evenly as you walk. In the seated position, now it doesn't matter whether this is in your occupation or indeed during recreation. If you are in the seated position, try and give your back a break every hour. Yes, give your back a break every hour. And the reason for this is when you are in the seated position, 6 times more weight is distributed into your lower back in that position as opposed to when you're in the standing position. So your lower back and its structures need a break every hour. Very well achieved by simply going for a 5-minute walk. Yes, you can. Just getting up, going for a 5-minute walk, no matter what your circumstance. But of course, sometimes that is not practical. You might be on a flight, which would mean you would have to achieve that by walking up and down the aisle of the plane. Not always possible. Or, of course, if you're driving a car, definitely not possible. Although you could stop, of course, stop the vehicle, get out of the car for 5 minutes. Yes, you could. But if you're in the position of being seated in a chair, then do this to give yourself that back break every hour. So with your right hand by your right hip and your left hand by your left hip, just push down with your hands and your feet, lifting your bottom off the chair. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then gently down. Okay, do 4 sets of these 5-second lifts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, and once more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As I said, achieved by pushing down with your feet and your hands, lifting your bottom gently, and then a nice slow return. Nice and slow. So therefore, you arrive back in your seat wonderfully gently. When you are lying down, when you're at rest, I like you to be nice and stable during a high percentage of the time when you are in that position. So get yourself in the recovery position, the first aid recovery position, a good position for lying down at rest, and place a pillow between your tummy and your chest, thus reducing the amount of movement when you are at rest. Yeah, that's right. Just cuddle that pillow into your tummy and chest for further stabilizing of your vertebral column when you are resting. If you bend your knees, you can place another pillow between your knees or even between your thighs. That will prevent your hip and pelvis from rolling. Yes, so at rest, very important to hold your posture nice and stable for as long as you possibly can. Now, I like the recovery position because that will mean that your head and neck will be in line with the rest of your spine. It will also mean that your airways will be nice and clear, which means that your breathing will be relaxed and constant, and therefore you will get a wonderful sleep. And you won't wake with a headache caused by hypoxia when your brain is denied of oxygen during your resting period. Yeah, so they are some of the key tips that I offer you for keeping your spine in good order, avoiding the surgeon's knife, avoiding the need for painkillers or anti-inflammatories, remembering, of course, that painkillers and or anti-inflammatories can lead to problems with your kidney or liver, particularly prolonged use of such medication. And all surgical procedures are very deleterious to the condition and the harmony of the body. So once again, best avoided. Absolutely best avoided. So I hope those tips that I have given you today can ensure your vertebral integrity. My principal job as a myotherapist, in my view, is to ensure that people remain independent and pain-free as long as possible. Yes, that's my job. That is my core responsibility. So in listening to this advice today and following this advice today, I trust that I have assisted you to remain pain-free and independent for as long as possible. Have fun, everyone. This has been episode 947, a Blind Magic Communications production.